Welcome to a short preview of this Screencasts Online video tutorial. Now, with the advent of macOS Mojave, there are some tasks you might want to undertake on your Mac before committing to the upgrade. Now, firstly, check that any apps that you're reliant upon are fully compatible with macOS Mojave, as well as any peripheral devices. Now, this can usually be determined by contacting the app or hardware vendor. If you do use your Mac for business or professional use, it may well be worth holding out for the first point release. Now, once you've decided that you do want to upgrade, it's always a good idea to give your current installation a clean out and take a backup. Now, I already have Clean My Mac installed and running. A couple of things you can do. You can both clean your Mac, but also you can remove any applications that you no longer need. There's a fully blown uninstaller in here. What I would suggest is to go here and say sort by last launch date, and you can actually see which applications you haven't launched for a while, and then make a decision as to whether or not you want to keep them or not. Just to show you, I'm going to uninstall Synology Assistant. I haven't used it for a year on this demo machine, so I'll click on here. I can do a complete uninstallation or an application reset, but I'm going to go ahead and say complete uninstallation, and then we'll say uninstall. Are you sure you want to permanently uninstall Synology Assistant? We'll say yes, and that will go ahead and do it for us. That's just a quick preview of one of this week's Apple-related tutorials from Screencasts Online. Screencasts Online is your premium source of Apple-related video tutorials. All of our members get access to brand new, up-to-date tutorials each week, as well as unlimited access to our entire video archive full of Mac and iOS-related tutorials. You can stream and download all of our videos on your Mac, iPad and iPhone, and even your Apple TV using the members-only Screencasts Online Apple TV app. Membership also includes a complimentary subscription to the digital Screencasts Online monthly magazine, published each month and packed with videos, articles, reviews, as well as hints and tips covering all aspects of the Mac, iPad, iPhone, and all of the other fantastic Apple products. So, if you're ready to start getting the most out of your Apple devices, visit ScreenCastsOnline.com today and become a Screencasts Online member.